Hi ho, Harry here, 420 MSP, going around the horn with our analysts, circling back to Dennis James. And Dennis, in honor of, you indicated you have a trip coming up. In honor of that, I put on my hat for Ireland. So was it Ireland you're going to? Where are you going, man?
Well, I think if you were to wear the Ireland cap in Scotland, you might not get very far. You know, that's where I'm going to be there for about 12 days.
Yes,
And I'm
sir.
going to be checking to see, they've got some medical cannabis stuff that they're working on. So have a little fun and do a little work.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll want to get your report on that. But you know what? Let's jump into the good stuff. So
Okay.
this month we're talking about the short cannabis legalization history. So this is important because if we don't learn from where we came, we'll repeat the mistakes of the past, as the historians like to say. So can you lay it out for the history?
Sure. So here in the state of Washington, around 1998, they approved what they call the I-692, and that provided support for medical cannabis. And in 2012, voters passed the I-502, allowing adults to possess up to 1 ounce of obtained and state licensed and regulated cannabis in the stores.
Yep.
And then in 2015, we kind of descended into chaos because the Cannabis Patient Protection Act, the SB 5052, and marijuana taxation reform kind of put medical cannabis under the auspices of the recreational
Huh.
types of cannabis. And so the bad news is it really takes medical cannabis, whereas a lot of other states like Oklahoma and other kinds of places like that are doing a great job of protecting medical cannabis folks. Here, things are starting to get kind of mushy. And so that's part of the reason that I decided to pick up medicanacare.com because I want people to know a little bit more about medical cannabis, learn a little bit about it, educate them, and use cannabis as safely as possible,
Yeah.
um, and stay up to date on medical cannabis news.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you. I don't like the commingling you've described, and I'll give an example we can both relate to that. You and I both had the opportunity to attend the recent Hemp Fest in Seattle, and in different ways. I didn't actually have a chance to connect with you. You know, we're both a little bit busy, but Dennis, my point is, lead with medical is the way I like to wake up starting the day. I don't fault somebody for partaking recreationally, and I realize that's a big market, but it's a different motion. And at HempFest, I'm not even sure I saw a medical conversation, and you know what I'm trying to say is just I don't like it all blurring together,
Hmm.
and I want to keep medical serious. So I don't know. Fill in the blank.
Yeah. Well, I guess the thing that I saw is, and I sent an email to Vivian, who is the co-founder of HempFest.
Yeah.
And I said I liked it, and I did like it. I enjoyed myself there. There were a lot of people having a good time. But while a lot of people talked about medical cannabis, they really weren't, really supporting it for the point of view that they allowed people to come up and talk to it. There were no, displays there about medical cannabis, and the
Right.
companies that could have been medical cannabis were pulled into the recreational side for some reason. So
Well,
anyway, we'll see how that goes.
yeah, and I have a follow up that's related to that. So with the things getting, as you said, mashed up with medical being moved under recreational, so how does that affect the cannabis retailers?
Oh, well, it's kind of confused things because there used to be you were a dispensary, uh, and you'll see that now, where there's only all you can get there is medical cannabis.
And is that typically the Green Cross? That's typically denoted with a green cross or something.
Yeah, that's the way that they denoted it for a while.
Okay.
But by doing this, basically, they've kind of, although almost all medical cannabis is now accepted and you get the discount for it, which is about 10%, which
Okay.
is significant, each month if you're doing it. They don't, the medical cannabis cards that you used to have to get, now if you're over 65, they just give it to you or give you the discount, which is not bad. I mean, who
Yeah.
wants to get into a big database? But they've had to deal with that, and unfortunately, what it's done is reduced the capabilities of the stores to support medical cannabis as well as they should.
Yeah.
So,
Well, and I'm gonna comment back in on that, and then I'll let you run and pack your bags to go to Scotland. But in my research for the book, right behind my head, right over there, uh,
mm-hmm,
the I of course did some field research, and I went to some dispensaries, and there's a whole range of them now. That said,
mm-hmm,
here in Kitsap County, I went to one where two of the bud tenders or herb tenders had gone on to become medically certified. They were in a position to have conversations about, epilepsy or oncology or whatever your situation may be. And I got to tell you, Dennis, I really appreciated that. I appreciated someone who really had invested in themselves. And you and I go back to the certification era of the 90s in technology where it was a mixed bag. Some of us really carried the bag and knew what we were doing, and others were paper MCSEs. And we are, a lot of our audience will relate to that example. But it was cool, brother. I'm just saying it was a really good I
mm-hmm.
spent about a half hour talking. It was cool, and that's what I want to see more of. I want to see educated people, certified people in the medical space who could really talk to you about maybe a family member that could benefit. Does that make sense?
It does, and that's another reason why MedicanCare.com is important. Is that if they get that medical certification, they can't really talk about medical cannabis. They can't look at you and say, all right, you have this kind of challenge, we can do this. That is primarily focused from doctors and things like that. You can imagine that that makes good sense because there are prescriptive kinds of things that
Yeah,
doctors do, people are taking, and I don't recommend that you stop taking those, but um, they also don't know that much about medical cannabis. And so you can go up there, I tell people, look, this is how you use it. These are the things you want to do. Here's how you figure out your dose. Which kind of using should you be working with? Should you do a vape? Uh, Although I don't recommend, smoking it anymore
yeah.
because why put
Nothing goes
anything
in my
extra in your
lungs.
lungs? So that's basically the challenge that they've run into. And this is primarily in this state. In some of the other states, they have like two sides to cannabis where the medical is strongly attached to doctors and other kinds of things like that. But we haven't done that yet in this state.
Yep. All right.
Of course, make it tough in the stores.
We'll leave it there, and we're gonna pick up next month on the different kinds of. We're gonna double click into the different kinds of stores, and we'll look forward to a recap of your trip over across the pond.
Sure.
So have fun, my friend. And Jenny, as always, thanks for your help. Folks, stick with us. 420msp.com. Harry Brelsford. Have a great day.